Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media, and we are thrilled to have one of our favorite guests back on the show. We can probably talk to these guys every single day for the rest of the year, and we'll still not have enough content to cover the great work they're doing. That's our friends from Forever Balboa Park. Honored to have in the studio with us Ann Wilson, a trustee. How you doing there, Ann?
I'm doing great, Drew. Thank you.
You bet. And then the Carousel Manager, the inimitable Bill Brown. How you doing, Bill?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thanks, Drew.
I really appreciate you coming in. Can't wait to talk about all the great things that are going on, especially with the carousel. And joining me for the second week is our curiosity shipper here at Cloudcast Media. She is my guest co-host, Kamara White. She was a senior at Mount Carmel High School recently and was focusing on journalism. She's a volleyball star. She's on a volleyball scholarship at St. Martin's College up in Washington, and she'll be communications manager. How you doing, Kamara?
I'm doing really good. I'm super excited to be here.
Yes. So to show you how talented this young woman is next to me, she didn't know what she was getting into last week. So I just put her right on the microphone and said, you're going to start being a co-host. She had no preparation whatsoever, and she did a great job. So now she'll take it from there, and I think she has a question for you right out of the gate, Ann.
Yes. What is the mission of your guys' organization?
The mission of Forever Balboa Park is to sustain, enhance, and envision Balboa Park for all our visitors in partnership with the City of San Diego and in collaboration with other park organizations and also the community.
You know, there's much has been written in the Union Tribune and pretty much everywhere about how this jewel of ours has got to be nurtured and grown and all that. You guys know it better than anybody. But there's many organizations that you folks work with, correct?
That's right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there a group called the Balboa Park 100 Friends of Balboa Park? What is that? What is the name of that group? I know there's
the Committee of 100.
The Committee of 100, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And then what other groups work with you on this?
We work a lot with the Cultural Partnership,
right.
And they represent all of the cultural institutions in the park, and they're instrumental to doing a lot of the projects in the park and to having some sort of a cohesive approach to visitors and to the various events that are put on in the park.
Right. So do you guys get together, because there's so many entities that want to focus on the park, the Cultural Partnership, Committee of 100, Forever Balboa Park, not counting the disparate museums and all that business. Do you ever get together like once a month and we're going to have a meeting once a quarter, once a millennium?
The representatives of the Cultural Partnership meet once a month, and they also put on a trustees party once a year where the trustees from all the organizations that belong to the Cultural Partnership get together, and we get to find out what each other is doing and who has a good idea that we can adopt and that kind of thing. So there's quite a bit of interaction.
Right, exactly. So let me talk to you, Bill, about the Carousel Restoration Project, if I can.
Yeah, I want to say, first of all, that the carousel is fine. The restoration project is mainly the building. The carousel is not the only thing that's over 100 years old. The building is also.
Right.
So we've done a lot of reinforcing. We've added bracing. And the carousel was in Balboa Park since 1922. But in 1968, it moved 2 blocks to the north.
Right.
And they made some changes to the roof line. They added these triangular roof extensions, and personally, I never cared for them because it enabled people to easily get on the roof. And we've had break-ins, and homeless like to shelter under them. So we found old black and white photos of the way the carousel looked pre-1968 when it was in Coronado and in Balboa Park. And we've got the roof line, the roof extensions back the way it did pre-1968, and it looks a lot better, I think.
Yeah, how long have you been working with the carousel yourself?
I started when I was 16 in 1972.
Oh my goodness, that is so near and dear to your heart, to say the least, on this. And do you have a plaque there on every one of the horses of the carousel? This is Bill Brown's favorite horse, or whatever.
I do. They did present me with a plaque just not too long ago on my 50th anniversary of being in the park. I think the most appropriate place for me is in the center. That's where I operate the carousel, so that's where the plaque is. And we do have plaques for people who sponsor the animals. But
no, I think it's terrific. And how is it as popular as ever?
Oh yes. It's always there's always a line. There's always people coming in.
Kamar, have you ever been on the carousel in Balboa Park?
I have, yes.
That's
with
right.
My brother.
Matter of fact, you can't call yourself a San Diegan if you've not been on this thing. I think that's great. So, Bill, let me ask: the funds coming to help with the restoration of the building and so forth, coming from Forever Balboa Park, coming from the city, coming from 16 different entities?
Yeah, generous donors. A lot of individuals. Like I mentioned, you can sponsor an animal. It costs quite a bit to do that, but we have a lot of foundations and donors who contribute to us. And I want to say Ann Wilson is instrumental in bringing those donors in. And she could probably give you a little more on that.
Please, Ann.
Yes, there have been over 400 donors to the carousel. Families, individuals, foundations, County of San Diego has supported us, other organizations in the park, the city. So it's been so gratifying to us to see how many people love and cherish our carousel and are willing to support it. And we accept donations of any size. They all help. And so that's what funded our purchase of the carousel in 2017 and continues to fund the restoration efforts that are ongoing.
Right, exactly. Now, the carousel runs from what time in the morning to what time in the evening?
11 to 5:30. In the summer, we're open daily. In non-summer months, just weekends and holidays.
Right, exactly. And you say there's always a line out there. Kamara, I know you got another question.
Yeah, so going off of just talking about the carousel, I know that there's something coming up on July 25th. So can you tell us more about that and what that means for the carousel?
I'm happy to. When the predecessor organization to do Forever Balboa Park, which was then Friends of Balboa Park, purchased the carousel in 2017 from the prior owner, we discovered that there was a National Carousel Day and that we should celebrate that. So except for the 2 years when we didn't have it during the pandemic, we have had it every year on July 25th. So coming up Tuesday, July 25th, National Carousel Day, we will have entertainment and food trucks there from 11 to 3, as well as activities for kids. And then the carousel, as Bill said, will be open from 11 to 5:30 on regular hours that day. And the rides are free on the 25th. So please come down. And it's also a special time this year because this is the grand reopening of the carousel after all the restoration work. It has been shut down for a number of months. So this is the first chance to ride it after all the work that's been done. So please come and join us.
Again, that's going to be Tuesday, July 25th from 11 to 5:30. It is free. That is an operative word with many people there. So there will be a lot of people there. Everybody share and play nice when you get to the carousel that day. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. Now in our 17th year, we are in these beautiful Mission Fed Credit Union studios here in Scripps Ranch, and Mission Fed has been doing wonderful things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. Just honored to have in the studio with us from Forever Balboa Park, Ann Wilson, a trustee, and Bill Brown, the carousel manager, talking about all the cool things that are going around with that carousel. You know, one of the things I think that's great about what you folks do, Ann and Bill, and listen, there's millions of people that contribute to this beautiful jewel of ours and so forth. But what I've always loved about it, I've been in San Diego, not as well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe as long as you have. I got here in 1975, Ann, so you might have beaten me a little bit. But
by a bit, yes.
Wouldn't you say just a bit on this? Bill, how long have you been in San Diego?
I was born here.
You were born here. Okay, right. So what are you, 40? So you were born, okay, very good. You know, what's great about it is that people, because of the great work that Forever Balboa Park does, Bill, you've done, and everybody else, they really look at this as their park, and they should look at it as their park in this aspect of it. Whether you're visiting from L.A. or just coming in for a vacation, and then we'll let Bill answer that. Talk about how important that is for the folks that work with this park, that people know it's their park.
I've always felt that way, and having grown up in San Diego, I have been riding the carousel and doing different things in Balboa Park since I was 3 years old. I lived in the Point Loma Ocean Beach area, so we were in the park a lot, especially on the weekends. And a lot of the things in the park were free at that time. And it was a big part of my childhood. And I work in Balboa Park, volunteer in Balboa Park, because I want to see that for children now and in the future in San Diego, that they have that wonderful park that they can experience and get to do as many of the different activities there are as possible.
Yeah, and Bill, listen, you love the park. It's more than just the carousel, I know, in that aspect, but that's such a huge part of it. But talk about how important it is when you see people's faces light up, and they just really take a lot of pride in this park.
Yeah, I think the reason I've been here so long, it's such a nice atmosphere in the park and in the carousel. And, I've been here over 50 years now. So people that I knew when they were kids are now bringing their kids and their grandkids. Everything in the park has been here so long. It's kind of a generational thing, and it is everybody's park. Yeah.
Well, and I think like a lot of things in San Diego, we live in this wonderful climate. We have some great natural resources. If you look at the San Diego River Conservancy, the Chula Vista Nature Center, go down the list of all the great things we have. We lose it, it ain't coming back, okay? And that's how I think we look at Balboa Park, is we got to look at this jewel and so forth on this. We come back from break, and I want to talk about, really stewarding, the historical park assets and resources. And I know, Kamara's going to follow up with a question on what our listeners can do to support that. We always love talking about you guys are synonymous with schools and with youth and community organizations as well. We'll chat about that when we return with our good friends from Forever Balboa Park. Ann Wilson, a trustee, Bill Brown, Carousel Manager. I am Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, joined by my guest co-host, Kamara White. She'll be heading to St. Martin's College in about a month and be a journalism major. She's doing a great curiosity ship with us. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We've been doing this for 17 years in the beautiful Mission Fed studio and Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed has been a great community supporter for more than 60 years, joined by my guest co-host, Kamara White. She is a curiosity shipper. We don't call them internships. She has done a great job co-hosting her second effort here. Are you enjoying this, Kamara?
Absolutely, yes.
So you may switch your major now to podcast major?
It is a possibility.
It's a possibility. Very good. She'll be going to St. Martin's College in Washington. on a volleyball scholarship and a journalism major. Honored to have in the studio with us Bill Brown, the Bill Brown, the carousel manager for Forever Balboa Park. He's only been working with that carousel for 50 years. He's got 50 more in the gas tank. I know he does in this. Joined by a trustee of Forever Balboa Park, Ann Wilson. And right before break, we were just talking about the stewarding historical park assets and resources, and a lot of that comes with volunteerism, does it not?
Yes, it does.
So talk about that. Talk about the assets and what you need to help continue to do the great work that the Forever Balboa Park is doing.
Sure, I'm happy to. Just let me say, first of all, the park wouldn't run without volunteers. Absolutely would not. Forever Balboa Park alone has over 300 volunteers that come to staff the visitor center to answer questions for visitors. We have a satellite our information booth out in the main plaza and several other locations, and you can ask questions, and we train these people so they can answer pretty much everything you want to know about the park. We have tree stewards. We have a group that works just in the rose garden. We have people that love to work in the gardens to make them beautiful. And that takes a lot of effort, and our volunteers are so dedicated, and we're so grateful. Also, the individual institutions and other programs have volunteer programs as well. So if you wanted to be a docent, say, at the Natural History Museum or the Art Museum, there's training for that as well. So you can go on our website at balboapark.org and see what our opportunities are. We also, as I mentioned, as a young person, I like to come to the park, and so do many people. So we have some various programs that involve youth. For example, this summer we have 8 interns, 2 for college and 6 from high school, and they will be busy in the park running some focus groups, focusing on youth and what young people would like to see in the park. And we have them writing stories for our newsletter, and they're also developing plans for trail restoration in the park and opportunities for more outdoor learning and recreation.
Bill, do you, as Ann was talking about the volunteers and sort of the wide swath I do you have a lot of volunteers that work on the carousel?
Yes, we do. About once a month we'll have a volunteer day, and they'll come in and they'll shine our brass poles and help us paint anything that needs to be done, and they really enjoy it, and we have a good time.
Right. How tough is it to maintain the carousel, or is it not? It's run so smoothly thanks to your efforts that it runs itself, and we know that's not true.
Well, the tradition of maintenance has been handed down over the years.
Right.
And because we do take such good care of it, it's still very rarely have any problems with it.
Right, exactly. I imagine that folks, want to, go ahead and once they're on that carousel, is there a rule you can only ride it a certain amount of times, but if you want to be on it all day long, you can?
Are you referring to National Carousel Day or
any day?
As long as you
day,
as long as you get a ticket, you can get a ride again. Yeah.
And how much are tickets to ride the carousel?
Tickets are $4, or you can get 4 for $14, I believe it is.
4 for $14, okay. Yeah. And I bet a lot of people use that as well. And for those folks who might not be familiar where the carousel is it next door to where the train is?
Yes, it's near the train, and we actually help each other out because kids riding the train will see the carousel and they go, Mom and Dad, I want to ride the carousel, and vice versa. So even though we have different owners, trains owned by the zoo, but we are friends because we help each other.
Well, it's a great location. And again, everyone's been up there. And of course, it's right next to the zoo parking lot. So you can walk to the zoo, and then you can you go south to, if I'm got my right directions, to the Natural History Museum and the Fleet Center. We just had the head of community outreach at the Fleet Center on our show a couple of weeks ago. And again, we could probably spend, every single day talking about what's going on in that area over there. I know that Kamara has a question for you regarding new tours.
Yeah. So, how do you guys?
On the tours, yeah. Do you guys doing new tours?
We are doing new tours.
Yeah.
We have Bill Edwards, who is our resident arboreal expert and tour guide, who will be leading free monthly botanical tours, and that will be focusing on the trees and gardens of Balboa Park. And there are many beautiful gardens in the park. There's, in addition to the botanical building, which is currently under reconstruction, there's a cactus garden, there's an Australian garden, there's a Trees for Health garden, There's the Alcazar Garden, to name a few. So that would be a wonderful tour if you're interested in trees and plants.
Is that on the website where people can go ahead and say, here are the tours that are offered?
Yes.
Yeah. And what is the website? Is it?
It's balboapark.org.
Okay, that must be a massive website in that area. Bill, do you lead tours at all if people want to know about the carousel?
I do give tours to groups at times to talk about the carousel. There's so much to talk about. I love it when we have questions because there's so many things I could say. I never know if I'm saying what people would be interested in. So I love it when people ask questions because I know I'm telling them something they want to know.
Well, the historical nature of it. And again, just as a reminder, Bill was referencing this as well. I think Kamara was talking about it. National Carousel Day will be on Tuesday, July the 25th from 11 to 5:30. There'll be food, there'll be music, there'll be everything out there, and the rides are free that day. Okay, again, it is Tuesday, July the 25th, and 11 to 5:30. Kamar, got another question for Ann?
So can you guys just tell us a story that makes you most proud of your organization and what you guys do there about Balboa Park?
So first of all, I just want to correct myself. The website is foreverbalboapark.org.
Very good, very good. People probably would have figured that out, but thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, I think what I'm proudest of, and because I've been probably involved in this more than anything else, is the acquisition and restoration of the carousel. I did not know until we were approached to purchase the carousel that it was privately owned. I think I always assumed it was just something that belonged to the city, and was surprised to find out it was privately owned. It's been owned by 3 families in its over 100-year history. And there was a chance that the carousel might leave the park if we didn't step up and purchase it. And as a longtime San Diego resident and Balboa Park and carousel lover, I said, no, that's just not possible. We need to keep that here. So we got organized, and having no idea how to run a carousel, we figured it out. And largely because Bill has been there so long, we've had him to rely on. So the fact that we could raise the money from the community to purchase it and also the money for the restoration has been an honor and a privilege to work on this to assure that the carousel will be in San Diego for at least another 100 years.
No, that's terrific. And Bill, I bet that's at the top of your list too. Some of the most amazing things. Sir, your 50-year career with the park and the carousel.
Yes, we're very lucky to be owned by 3 families that took very good care of the carousel. And because of that, we still have all the original elements intact. That's very rare, even for other 100-year-old carousels, to still have all the animals that are original to that carousel. We still have the military band organ that came with the carousel. We still play the brass ring game.
Wow.
And I've got a copy of an article from 1913 when it was in Coronado. It tells about kids and adults playing the brass ring game. And we still play it the same way they did then. You can grab iron rings, and if you get a brass ring, you get a free ride. The iron rings are no good, so you can throw them in the clown. Just something to do. When I started in 1972, there were still quite a few people around that remember World War II, and they would tell me that during World War II, the clown resembled Hitler, and people would throw their rings and try and knock Hitler over. Yeah, I've had, if just one person told me, I said, yeah, right. But multiple people over the years have told me that, so I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. You must see, as you talked about before, the folks that you've known for 50 years that are coming, and maybe there are folks that are in their 90s and so forth, and they've been coming, and their grandkids have been coming, and so forth. And I think it's great just to have that legacy and that history. And talk a little bit about, the challenges, in the park. Obviously, 1,200 acres, and that is not easy to navigate. And to your point, you need folks like Bill who really know what they're doing, but the volunteers. Talk about that.
Yeah, it is a lot to handle, especially if you're someone who's never been to San Diego before, never been to Balboa Park. Where do you start? That's one reason I think that we have our visitor center that's located in the House of Hospitality in the Cultural District. And we have the people in the visitor center. There's a lot of information. They can answer questions. We have maps. We have trail maps. We have a brochure that shows you where all the gardens are. And then out in the plaza, which in Plaza de Panama, that's very easy to access and for people to see when they get to the park. There are people there who can answer questions as well. And we're in the process of doing additional signage that we hope will make it easier for people to get around in the park and to see where different things are.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just such a gorgeous park. I came from, I grew up in Los Angeles, and nice parks in LA, I'll tell you that right now, but I've been in San Diego for quite a bit. What always amazed me was it could be, and I think it still is true, maybe you guys can correct me if it's not, here it is, and if you're sleeping in on a lazy Sunday and it's 11 o'clock, you can still get down to the park in a half hour and easy to park. You cannot do that in LA. You get to a park at 11:30 on a Sunday, you might as well be parking 400 miles away. And you can still do that, park in the Oregon Pavilion parking lot in X, Y, and Z and enjoy the park. Then the throngs start coming around 1 or 2 o'clock and you can't find, And what I love about the park, there really is ample parking. There is ample everything in that park. And just be smart about how you navigate it. And you can have an experience there, 55 different experiences in 55 different days, can you not?
Yes, you can. Yeah. And there's always something different. And I have to say that for me, it's one of my favorite places to people watch.
Well, there's a lot of people watching, and at any time of the year. One of my favorite times, of course, is when they have the holidays, around the Prado in first weekend in December. Of course, that is always a hoot in that aspect. But it's pretty much anywhere, whether it's Earth Day or whether it's some of the great things going on this weekend at the park. There's always something for that, and the beauty of it is just stunning. With all the plants and everything out there. Anyway, again, we can't talk about it enough, and you guys are going to be on the show more times than you care to be on it. But you probably go, Drew's calling again, we're going to run for the hills on this. But there's always opportunities. I know Kamara has a question for you folks, too, that can help with what can we do to support you? Talk about that, Kamara.
Yeah, so I know you mentioned just donations and volunteer work, but just one more time, just to emphasize, how can listeners on this podcast, but also just the public and youth support you guys?
Again, I would urge people to keep up with what's going on in the park. There is an entity that's part of the city called the Balboa Park Committee. They meet once a month, and if you're interested in what's going on in the park, you can attend the meetings. Well, actually, there's Zoom meetings now, but you can go to the city's website and see what they're up to, what's on the agenda. So if you want to speak in favor or even against various things that are happening in the park, your voice can be heard. They will have public comments. As we said before, volunteering is wonderful, and you will meet wonderful people, and both the other volunteers and when you're working out in the park, people want to stop and know, how do you volunteer? What are you doing? And you can become a real ambassador for improving the park and for involvement of people. And as always, we gladly accept donations of any size, and all the money is put to use to improve the park.
Yeah, and I think it's so critical on this. This has been a theme of our show now for 17 years, and that is there's no such thing as too small of a donation. We'll take any donations it is. And same with volunteering. If you can only do 1 hour a week, then we'll take you 1 hour a week. Maybe
You
next month it's 2 hours a week, whatever the case may be. And I think that's very important. Bill, how can we continue to make that iconic carousel such a great part of people's lives? What can we do to support your efforts on that?
Well, just come down and ride. And we have a donation box on our ticket booth that you can always contribute to. And just help us take care of it.
Right. And again, if you need hands to help polish the horses there, now, let me ask you this. I've always wanted to know this. Are the horses named? Does each one of them have a name?
Well, if you sponsor an animal, that's part of the deal. You get to name the animal.
Okay. So when you sponsor an animal, on the carousel, you're sponsoring it for a month, a day, a week, a year, forever, all of the above?
Forever. You get a plaque that is there permanently. We have benches that you can sponsor for lesser amounts, but the animals are. We still have several animals that can be sponsored. Yeah.
And how would they find out? Do you go back to that website again, or just give Bill a call at 3 a.m. and he'll tell you where it is? They don't call Bill at 3 a.m.
It's foreverbalboapark.org.
Yes, you could just go to the website and it will give you information on donations, and also just leave a message and somebody will be in touch with you and find out what you're interested in. Come down and have a tour of the carousel as well.
That sounds great. Bill, any final comments?
No, I'd just say come and ride, and we're one of the few carousels that still has the original machinery. We still have the original motor, a General Electric 10 horsepower motor, and just these carousels were built for adults about 100 years ago, so it was the thrill ride of the day. So I think if you're used to these carousels in the mall or wherever that were built mainly for kids, you'll be surprised at how fast it goes. Most carousels today go about 7 miles an hour. Ours goes 13 miles an hour.
Ooh, that's moving.
So yeah, I think even adults have a good time on it, and then everyone will enjoy it.
That sounds good. And any final comments?
Just another way to support us. If you want to have a party at the carousel, we are available for private events. And once again, you can contact the office, the website, or call the phone number, and sign up to have a party there.
No, that sounds terrific. I want to remind everybody of National Carousel Day. It'll be Tuesday, the 25th of July from 11 to 5:30 p.m. The rides will be free during that time. So get there early. As always, Ann and Bill, just love having you folks on for Forever Balboa Park. There's so much content to cover. We'll have you back on in the not too distant future on other topics to chat about. Kamara, another nice job. Are you going to now go down to a National Carousel Day?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So look for Kamara being in probably first in line, maybe if you get up that early.
Come and say hi to both of us.
No, I will, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I might try to make it down there as well. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 17th year in the beautiful Mission Fed studio and Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed has been a great community leaders for more than 60 years. Honored to chat with our friends from Forever Balboa Park and Wilson Trustee and Bill Brown, the Carousel Manager. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.